Hi, it's Keith here from Target Property Spain. So if you're looking to buy a property in a community on the Costa del Sol, so that's an apartment or a townhouse, or sometimes a villa if there's elements you'll be sharing with your neighbours, then you'll need to pay community fees or gastos de comunidad. Now, if you've already owned a property in the States before, you'll already be familiar with the term HOA fees, which are very, very similar. But to the rest of us, it's an entirely new concept. So in this video, we explain what community fees are all about. So the easiest way to think about community fees is it covers the upkeep and the maintenance of the shared parts of the complex. So that's everything outside your four walls, but within the perimeter of the community itself. So think things like cleaning of the swimming pool, maintenance of the elevators, it'll pay for the gardener, it'll pay for the cleaners, it'll cover the insurance of the building. If you've got a security guard, if you've got a tennis court, it'll pay for things like that as well. How much you'll actually pay? Well, that's the million-dollar question, and it's impossible to generalise. I mean, it varies massively from community to community. It can be as low as 50 euros per month. It can be as high in the extreme as 1,000 euros more a month, especially if you're buying into a luxury, lavish villa complex in one of the swankiest parts of Marbella. How it's actually calculated depends on two main things. The first thing you have to consider is how extensive are the amenities you're paying for. So a complex with a heated swimming pool, a 24-hour security guard, landscape gardens and ornate fountains, that's clearly going to cost more than a more modest complex. And the second thing to consider is how many neighbours you have to share the cost. Because a lower density community with fewer neighbours, whilst it's more exclusive, it's also going to be more expensive for each of you. Now, these figures aren't just plucked out the air. There'll be an annual general meeting held annually within the complex, which you are more than entitled to attend. This is where you'll discuss financial aspects of the community. So, do we really need a security guard? Do we need an extra gardener, for example? For me, when I lived in the community, I tried to avoid them. For me, it was several hours of my life I knew I'd never get back. But you're more than welcome to attend and get as involved or not as you may wish. So when you've found your property and your lawyer's doing the due diligence and checking the paperwork for you, they'll often request copies of the minutes of the last few AGMs of the community and the accounts to check you're buying into a healthy community. And that's very, very important. One thing that can be overlooked though is quite often there'll be periodic maintenance of a community. So every few years they'll paint the building, they might retile the swimming pool, for example. And if anything untoward happens out of the blue, that'll need to be paid for as well. Now that can often mean there'll be additional instalments that they'll request from you unless your community has a reserve fund. So always worth asking your lawyer to check the community you're buying into has a reserve fund so you don't have any untoward surprises. I hope that helps. That's all for now. Hasta luego.